Welcome. So, you're starting your IGCSEs, and you're probably looking at international mathematics and thinking, what am I actually going to be studying? Well, you're in the right place. Let's break it all down.
In this explainer, we're going to take that big, long syllabus and turn it into a clear and, dare I say, exciting roadmap for your studies. Something totally manageable.
We're going to journey through the 10 key topics you're going to master. And what's really cool is you'll see how they all connect, building up this really powerful understanding of mathematics.
Okay, before we dive into the topics themselves, you should know that you have an important choice to make. You see, IGCSE Maths isn't just one single road. There are actually two different paths you can take.
And here's what that choice looks like. You've got the core path, which is all about building a super solid foundation in math. This is for students targeting grades C to G. Then there's the extended path. This is for anyone aiming for those top grades, from A star to C. It covers everything in the core path, plus some more advanced, challenging topics, so you can really tailor the course to your own goals. All right, let's get into our first set of topics. These are the absolute fundamentals, kind of like learning the language and grammar of mathematics. First up is number. This is where you'll get really comfortable with all the essentials. We're talking everything from prime numbers and percentages to confidently working with ratios and even currency exchange rates. Think of it as mastering the vocabulary of math. Next up, algebra. Now, this is where you learn the incredibly powerful skill of using letters and symbols to solve problems. It's kind of like a puzzle. You'll be simplifying expressions, solving equations, and spotting the patterns in number sequences to figure out the rules behind them. Then we have functions. And what are functions? Well, it's all about understanding the relationship between an input and an output. You'll learn how to represent these relationships on graphs, which makes these abstract ideas way easier to actually see and understand. And to wrap up our foundational topics, we have coordinate geometry. This is basically your toolkit for mapping out points and lines on a grid. You'll learn how to analyze them, figure out how steep a line is, how long it is, or find its exact center point. Super useful stuff. Okay, so now that we've got the fundamentals down, we can use them to explore the much more visual world of shapes, space, and measurement. Geometry. This is where you'll become a master of shapes. You'll be calculating unknown angles using the predictable rules of parallel lines and understanding all the special theorems that circles have to follow. This leads us perfectly into mensuration, which, is really just a fancy word for the practical skill of measuring all those shapes. You'll learn how to find their area, their volume, and really understand how much space they take up in the real world. With trigonometry, you'll discover how to use the special relationships inside triangles to solve all sorts of fascinating problems. You'll be working with powerful tools like Pythagoras' theorem and, of course, the good old SOHCAHTOA ratios to find missing sides and angles. And finally, in this section, you'll get to explore transformations. This is where you learn how to move shapes around in predictable ways. You'll be reflecting them like they're in a mirror, rotating them around a point, and even sliding them across a grid using vectors to describe their exact journey. All right, for the final part of our journey, we're going to look at how we can make sense of the world using data and understand the mathematics of uncertainty. Ever wondered what the odds are of something happening? Well, that's probability. You'll explore the fascinating world of chance, learning how to calculate the likelihood of different events, from impossible to absolutely certain, and even map out outcomes using tools like tree diagrams. And in statistics, you basically get to become a data detective. You'll learn how to collect, organize, and interpret data to tell a real story, from finding the average value in a set of numbers to spotting trends and relationships on a chart. So, after exploring all 10 of these topics, what does this all add up to? What's the big picture? Well, here's the most important part. This course isn't just about passing an exam. It's about building this incredible toolkit for thinking logically, for solving problems, and for reasoning clearly. And that's a skill that will be so valuable for the rest of your life, no matter what you decide to do. And if you're looking for a guide on your IGCSE math journey, Fundoo Tutor is here to help you succeed every single step of the way.